I promise this will be the last Raiders video for the time being, because God forbid I'm having to make another video on this team because my previous video aged like milk in 2 days. At this rate, I wouldn't be surprised if Mark Davis knows my location and is just doing this to troll me. But anyways, yes, the Raiders have fired Tom Telesco. 2 days after firing Antonio Pierce, because this organization is many things, normal not being one of them. For Telesco, this comes after having a great draft class with Brock Bowers obviously being the main highlight, along with solid picks to help the O-line, like Jackson Powers-Johnson and DJ Glaze. As we know now though, that wasn't enough to save his job. Now, I'm sure that firing your GM after one season screams desperation for an organization whom the past 20 years has made it their identity to be as unstable as humanly possible. However, taking a step back to look at this, it becomes very clear what's happening here. Telesco wasn't fired for his performance. He was fired because Tom Brady wants his guy. And by his guy, I'm not talking about the next Raiders GM. Simply put, there's a real possibility the Raiders' next GM is already working with Mark Davis. Of course, I'm implying that Tom Brady is their next GM. There's just so many signs pointing to this happening. It's Tom Brady, and he wants to run a football team. Of course, this doesn't mean it's a guarantee that he'll do well. As history shows us, being a GOAT doesn't translate to success in running a sports team. Looking at you, Michael Jordan. But in this scenario, there's no question that Brady as a GM, or just Brady having a big role in general with the Raiders, is a far more attractive name to coaches who would be wanting to coach the Raiders. And despite what I said in my last video, this would probably open the Raiders up to the likes of Ben Johnson and other high-profile names that aren't Mike Vrabel. And yes, that includes Bill Belichick, because that rumor is never gonna die. In the end, though, I see the vision as to what the Raiders are going for here. With the franchise now in Tom Brady's hands, this is either going to turn out very well, or it's going to be a disaster. The Raiders are back at square one, and that rebuild sure looks to be a long one, yet again. But hey, if anyone wants to look at the bright side here, this might be enough to get Tom Brady out of the commentator's booth. And that's something everyone would cheer for.